This project is about deciding how to move in my everyday life. My options are to take the metro, take the bus, or to take a taxi. I insert these options one after the other using the Add an Option yellow button. I click the Save button to save the edited option. Yellow buttons consistently mark the allowed actions in every screen of Raison. After finishing with the options, I create my first initial scenario by clicking the Add a Scenario button. My first scenario is about visiting a friend who lives far away from me. As I have friends who live nearby but also far away, I will use two elements to compose this scenario. One is the fact that I want to visit a friend, and the other is the fact that to visit them I have to do a long-distance ride. After finishing, I click Save and the scenario forms a row. In this scenario all options are possible, therefore I click all the check boxes in the scenarios row, each corresponding to the option above it. As this scenario enables all three options, there is a conflict. If I go to the conflict resolution step, I can resolve the conflict. In this case, I can initially decide by forming groups as I perceive the bus competing with both the other options. I can only decide by adding more context. I can take the bus if the bus stop is near my house. As soon as I click Save, I see my context and selected option below. Then I add another context-based preference for the group of taxi and metro when it's a cold day. Raison asks me if the cold day context is compatible with the bus stop being near my house. I click Yes, and Raison asks me to decide what to do in this composite scenario. I have a primary choice for the group of taxi and metro. Raison now asks me if I want to add more elements, to prefer to take the bus or to discriminate between taxi and metro. The latter is my choice, and now Raison shows me these choices individually in this context. I have a primary choice for the metro, but in the case that it rains I prefer the taxi. I have now finished the conflict resolution. I click the next step, Decision Policy, and review my policy. I can filter the view by option or by selecting elements. I click the menu and select to run my application. I select to visit a long-distance friend. If I run the app, one see that all options are possible, as expected. If I add the context that there is a bus stop near my house, then only the option to take the bus applies. If I add the fact that it is a cold day, then I get to take the metro, and finally, if it rains, then I get a taxi.